We're told that we stand at the peak of human achievement, that our science has surpassed everyone who came before. We map distant stars, we manipulate the building blocks of life, and we carry the sum of human knowledge in our pockets. By almost any measure, we are the most advanced civilization to ever exist. But what if the history we read in textbooks is missing a few chapters? What if, scattered across the globe, monuments of stone and earth stand as silent proof of a wisdom so profound, it still defies our best science? What if ancient people had a kind of genius we're only now beginning to understand? A genius that challenges the very story of our past. The riddle of the stones. On the windswept Salisbury Plain in England stands a monument that has haunted our imagination for thousands of years. It's a silhouette against the sky, a circle of giants frozen in a silent, eternal dance. This is Stonehenge, a prehistoric marvel that is as famous as it is mysterious. For about 5,000 years, these stones have stood watching empires rise and fall, guarding secrets we have yet to unravel. The story archaeologists tell us is that Stonehenge wasn't built all at once, but in phases over at least 1,500 years. It began around 3000 BC with a large circular ditch and bank, or henge. Inside, it seems a circle of timber posts once stood, and analysis of cremated human remains suggests it was used as a burial ground from its earliest days. In fact, studies of the bones revealed many people weren't local, suggesting Stonehenge was a place of pilgrimage, a final resting place for people from far-off communities. The first stones to arrive were the smaller blue stones, which geologists have traced with stunning accuracy to the Preseli Hills in Wales, over 150 miles away. Then came the true titans of the site, the sarsen stones. These colossal sandstone blocks, some weighing over 40 tons, were hauled from the Marlborough Downs, a mere 20 miles to the north. They were shaped with incredible precision, using stone hammers, and then raised to form the iconic outer circle and the inner horseshoe of trilithons, two upright stones capped with a horizontal one. And here, the comfortable story ends and the real mystery begins. Even with today's technology, many engineers still ask, how did they build this? The logistics are just staggering. First, the blue stones. Mainstream archaeology suggests these 4-ton stones were quarried in Wales and then transported by immense human effort, likely using sledges, rollers, and maybe rafts. It's a plausible, if absolutely Herculean, theory. But the Sarsens are a problem on another level. How does a Neolithic society, with no wheels and only basic tools of stone, wood, and rope, move a 40-ton block over 20 miles of rough countryside? The accepted theories involve hundreds of people pulling these behemoths on wooden sledges. Imagine the coordination, the sheer brute force needed. It's a feat that would challenge modern logistics, let alone a society that hadn't invented the wheel. But the official explanation struggles to account for the stunning precision. The lintel stones on top weren't just placed there. They were secured with mortise and tenon, joints, a sophisticated woodworking technique applied to stone. The uprights were even shaped to be wider at the top, a trick of perspective known as entasis, which makes them look perfectly straight from the ground. This isn't the work of laborers piling up rocks. This is the work of master craftsmen, of architects who understood engineering, geometry, and even optics. Where did they get this knowledge? Then there's the biggest question of all. Why? The most popular theory is that Stonehenge was a sophisticated astronomical observatory. Its main axis aligns perfectly, with the sunrise on the summer solstice and the sunset on the winter solstice. This alignment is just too perfect to be a coincidence. It suggests its builders were meticulous astronomers, tracking the sun and moon, perhaps to set the rhythm for their farming and ceremonies. Yet that explanation feels incomplete. The sheer scale of the effort seems to go way beyond the need for a simple calendar. This has led to other theories. Was it a temple for healing? The blue stones were thought to have curative properties in ancient folklore. Was it, as one new theory suggests, indeed a monument built to unify the peoples of Britain, bringing stones from Wales and even Scotland together in one place could have been a powerful symbol of cooperation. Recent archaeological work has only deepened the mystery. Advanced mapping has revealed a vast hidden landscape of 17 other ritual monuments around Stonehenge. This wasn't just a circle in a field, it was the heart of a sprawling sacred complex. As science reveals more about the how and what of Stonehenge, the why remains just out of reach. Was it a temple, a tomb, a clock, or something else entirely? The stones aren't talking. The Nazca lines, a message for the gods? Just as Stonehenge baffles us on the ground, another mystery etched into the earth of South America defies explanation from the sky. In the arid plains of southern Peru lies one of the world's most perplexing enigmas, the Nazca lines. Sprawling across nearly 190 square miles of desert, the ground is covered in a breathtaking collection of giant geoglyphs. There are hundreds of straight lines and geometric shapes alongside more than 70 incredible biomorphs, stylized animals like a spider, a hummingbird, and a monkey. Created by the Nazca and Paracas cultures between 500 BC and 500 AD, the lines are a masterpiece of ancient engineering. The method was simple. They removed the reddish-brown pebbles on the surface to expose the lighter-colored sand underneath. In this incredibly dry environment, the lack of rain and wind has preserved these shallow trenches for nearly 2,000 years. The simplicity of their creation, though, hides the profound mystery of why they exist. The big question is this: why create art you can't fully appreciate from the ground? It wasn't until pilots began flying over the desert in the 1930s that their true scale became known to the world, though they were known to locals long before that. While the grandest designs are only clear from the air, many figures are visible from the surrounding foothills. Still, who was the primary audience for this spectacular gallery of art? This question has sparked a whole range of theories. The first scientific investigators, Paul Kosok and Maria Reiche, who dedicated her life to preserving the lines, proposed they were a massive astronomical calendar. They argued many lines align with the rising and setting of the sun and stars at key times of the year. In this view, the animal figures might represent constellations, turning the desert into a giant map of the heavens. It's an elegant theory, but later analysis showed that most of the lines have no link to any significant astronomical event. While a few match up, many more do not. So, if not a celestial map, what then? Another prominent theory centers on the most vital resource in this desert: water. Archaeologists like Johann Reinhard have argued the lines are connected to water rituals. The animal geoglyphs, spiders, hummingbirds, monkeys, are all creatures associated with water or fertility in Andean beliefs. Under this theory, people would walk the lines in ceremonies, praying to the gods who controlled the life-giving rains. The lines weren't meant to be seen by humans from above, but to be experienced from within, and perhaps seen by deities in the sky. Of course, you can't talk about the Nazca lines without mentioning the most famous fringe theory. In his book, Chariots of the Gods, Erich von Däniken proposed the long straight lines were runways for alien spacecraft. While the idea captured the public's imagination, it's dismissed by the scientific community. There's zero physical evidence for it, and it unnecessarily strips the ingenuity from the Nazca people themselves. The construction of the lines, while impressive, required careful planning and coordinated labor, not advanced technology. Despite all the theories, the Nazca lines keep their power to mystify. Were they a map of the stars, a series of ritual pathways, a prayer for water? The truth is likely a mix of all these things, blending astronomy, ritual, and social purpose. The figures remain, a silent message whose meaning is carried away on the wind, a masterpiece created for gods, or perhaps for a future generation that would learn to fly. The Great Pyramid, an impossible feat of engineering. From the skybound drawings of Peru, we travel to the sands of Egypt, home to the most iconic mystery of the ancient world. On the Giza Plateau stands the last surviving wonder of the ancient world, the Great Pyramid of Khufu. For nearly 4,000 years, it was the tallest man-made structure on Earth, a mountain of stone built with a scale and precision that still leaves modern engineers speechless. According to mainstream Egyptology, the Great Pyramid was built around 2560 BC as a tomb for the pharaoh Khufu. The statistics are staggering. It's made of about 2.3 million stone blocks, most weighing several tons, with some granite blocks weighing up to 80 tons. Its base covers 13 acres and is a near-perfect square. And maybe most astonishingly, the pyramid is aligned to true north, with an accuracy of within 3/60ths of a degree. A level of precision that would be tough to replicate today, even with GPS and lasers. This is where the conventional story starts to fray, giving way to a flood of questions. How did they possibly build this? The accepted theory is that a huge workforce quarried stones with copper chisels, transported them on sledges and barges up the Nile, and then hauled them up immense ramps. Let's look at that theory. First, the quarrying. Copper is a soft metal. The idea that workers could cut and perfectly shape 2.3 million blocks of stone, including hard granite, using simple copper tools within the 20-year reign of Khufu is a serious challenge, both mathematically and practically. Then there's the lifting. Ramps are the most common explanation for getting multi-ton blocks up to heights of over 450 feet. But what kind of ramp? A single straight ramp would have needed to be over a mile long, requiring more material than the pyramid itself. A spiral ramp would have blocked the sight lines needed for the pyramid's geometric precision. No definitive evidence for any specific ramp method has ever been found. The pyramid itself offers no clues, no inscriptions, no diagrams, no builder's notes. We are left only with the impossible result. And what about the finer details? The granite coffer in the king's chamber is too big to fit through the narrow passage leading to it, meaning it was placed there as the pyramid was built around it. The chamber is made of massive granite blocks from Aswan, over 500 miles away, fitted together so perfectly you can't slip a razor blade between them. How was this done with primitive tools? For decades, these questions were just speculation. But now, modern science is peering inside the pyramid in ways its builders could never have imagined. The scan pyramids project uses cosmic ray particles to detect hidden voids. In 2017, they announced a stunning discovery, a massive, unknown void above the Grand Gallery, dubbed the Scan Pyramid's Big Void. It's at least 100 feet long. Its function is a complete mystery. More recently, the project confirmed another hidden corridor behind the main entrance. These discoveries prove that even this most studied monument still holds deep secrets. So was the Great Pyramid just a tomb? Its scale, precision, and celestial alignment all seem to point to something far grander. This has led some to ask if it was a power plant, a device for initiation, or a message to the future. The lack of any bodies or grand treasures in its main chambers only deepens the suspicion. The Great Pyramid stands not just as a monument to a pharaoh, but as a monument to the limits of our own understanding, forcing us to ask, did this ancient civilization know something we've forgotten? The quest for answers is a journey we're all on together. What are your theories about these ancient enigmas? Do you think they're the work of forgotten human genius? Or is there another explanation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The best mysteries are the ones we explore as a community, and if you believe our past is more complex and mysterious than we imagine, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. Join us as we continue to investigate the greatest unexplained mysteries of our world. There are countless more secrets waiting to be unearthed, expanding the enigma, more unexplained. Marvels. The riddles of Stonehenge, Nazca, and the Great Pyramid aren't alone. They're just the most famous examples in a global tapestry of ancient mysteries. When you look wider, you find cultures across the world, separated by oceans and centuries, left behind clues to an age of astonishing capability. Let's go to southeastern Turkey, to a site that has rewritten the first chapter of human civilization, Göbekli Tepe. Dated to around 11,000 years ago, it's the oldest known temple in the world. This is revolutionary because it predates farming, pottery, and metallurgy. The people who built it were supposed to be simple hunter-gatherers. Yet these primitive people erected massive T-shaped limestone pillars weighing up to 20 tons, arranged them in complex circles, and covered them with intricate carvings. The central mystery is profound. How did nomadic people, without the organized labor of a settled society, manage such a massive project? Göbekli Tepe suggests that the need to build this sacred site may have been the very thing that pushed humans to settle down and invent civilization, not the other way around. Now let's travel to the Bekiye Valley in Lebanon, to the ancient city of Baalbek. Here, beneath magnificent Roman ruins, lies a foundation platform that baffles engineers. This platform contains some of the largest worked stones on Earth. The three most famous, known as the trilithon, are three limestone blocks, each weighing an estimated 800 tons, lifted and positioned with incredible precision. But at the nearby quarry, it gets even more mysterious. Here lies the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, a single quarried block weighing a staggering 1,000 tons. Nearby are others weighing over 1,200 and even 1,750 tons. These are among the largest monoliths ever cut by humans. The sheer ambition of quarrying a 1,650-ton block suggests its creators were supremely confident they could move it. What lost techniques did they possess? From brute force, we turn to sublime artistry at the Kailasa Temple in Maharashtra, India. This temple wasn't built, it was excavated. The entire structure was carved, top down, out of a single solid basalt cliff face in the 8th century CE. Workers started at the top of a cliff and chiseled down, removing an estimated 400,000 tons of rock to reveal a multi-story temple complex. This top-down method allows for zero margin of error. The precision is mind-boggling, and no one knows where the hundreds of thousands of tons of excavated rock went. The Kailasa Temple is a testament to an almost superhuman level of planning and vision. Finally, let's dive into the Aegean Sea, off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera. In 1901, divers found a corroded lump of bronze in an ancient shipwreck. It turned out to be the Antikythera mechanism, the world's first analog computer. Dated to around 150 BC, this device has a complex system of over 30 interlocking bronze gears. By turning a crank, it could predict the positions of the sun and moon, the phases of the moon, and even solar and lunar eclipses. Nothing this complex appears again in the historical record for over 1,000 years. It's a piece of technology utterly out of place in its time, forcing us to wonder what other marvels have been lost to the dust of history. We've traveled from the misty plains of England to the deserts of Peru and Egypt and beyond. We've stood before stones that chart the heavens, lines drawn for gods, and monuments built with impossible precision. The thread that binds them all is a humbling one. They all represent an ancient knowledge that challenges our modern assumptions. They are the footnotes in history that deserve to be headlines. These marvels force us to reconsider what our ancestors were capable of. They confront us with the possibility that entire chapters of human ingenuity have been lost, that technologies once existed that we are only now rediscovering. They are not just relics, they are puzzles that remind us that history is not a closed book. It is a living mystery with secrets still buried under sand and stone. Perhaps the greatest mystery isn't how these wonders were built, but the enduring spirit of inquiry they inspire in us. They fuel our imagination and drive us to ask the most powerful question of all: what else don't we know?